Cybercrime, a very simple definition, any crime that has happened with the computer as the medium, with the computer network as the medium, with computer system as the medium. So this is a very basic definition. If you are online and you faced any crime while being online, then it's a cybercrime. We think that awareness is the prime concern in the market these days when it comes to the cyber crimes. So we do take calls with the people. We provide them with the techno-legal consultancies. For example, if X person has faced any kind of a cyber crime, he'll come to us, share his issues, and we will guide him what to do further. And moreover, we are providing this for free right now. We are not charging anything from anyone for this purpose.
Amazing.
Because we believe that awareness and education is paramount. There should be no compromise in it, because until and unless awareness should be there, we cannot handle anything.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of LegalWiki, your go-to source for legal education and inspiration, where we interact with the best legal professionals from the various legal industry. In today's episode, I'm thrilled to introduce Ms. Pakhi Garg. Ms. Pakhi currently serves as an in-house counsel at Gartner and holds the position of data privacy specialist and advisor at the World Security Forum, WCSF. WCSF is a cyber-oriented legal consultancy organization with a mission to promote cyber awareness and address various internet-related issues through the provision of cybersecurity and legal solutions for netizens. And in 2020, WCSF introduced its cyber awareness program designated to educate society from committing emerging forms of cybercrime through practical means such as workshop, courses, and training sessions. Ms. Pakhi, after gaining insights into the corporate world, also ventured into offering corporate development coaching to students and professionals aspiring to collaborate with multinational corporations on a global scale. Additionally, Ms. Pakhi has launched a Web Future newsletter to provide insights into cyber and data privacy laws. Today, she joins us to share her invaluable experience and insights into the legal aspects of cyber law, an emerging and complex field of law. A very warm welcome to you, Ms. Pakhi. I'm thrilled to have this conversation with you today.
Thank you very much, Surbi, for your warm introduction and, of course, for your warm invitation. I'm looking forward to this session, and let's try to be more fruitful.
Yes, my pleasure. Before we begin, I would really like to thank you for accepting my invitation and taking time out of your busy schedule. I hope our conversation will be beneficial for all the young lawyers and professionals looking forward to entering into and exploring this cyber and technology law sector, as it's an emerging field of law. Sure. So with this, let's begin. So starting with, would you like to share with us what inspired you to pursue a career in cyber and technology law?
So I remember the time when I was in my intermediate. So I used to have one subject in my school, that is information technology, IT, that we generally call it.
Okay.
So that influenced me a lot. I was very much, inclined towards that subject because I enjoy doing the coding, the programming. And apart from that, at that time, I was only limited to the programming part, that, okay, this is the only IT and these are the high level languages, these are the lower level languages, and that's all. Then again, then I completed my intermediates with a good marks in IT. And then again, I pursued IT as one of my subjects in my Bachelor of Humanities when I was doing it as soon as I completed my intermediate. So at that moment of time, I again give it a try to the IT. And at that time, honestly, it was just a thought that it's one of the practical subjects. So it will eventually help me out in gaining good marks and make a good percentile out of it. But slowly and gradually, I get to know about a lot. I read a lot about them. At that time, there used to be a magazine from Amar Ujala that with the name of Ulan. So I have a habit of reading that magazine because it was related to career process and career orientation things for the students. One day, they provided with some courses that were related to cyber laws. And at that moment of time, like somewhere around 2015, 14, 15, around. So that was a not like these days, cyber is something ki nahi, utna, it's not a hype. But at that moment of time, it was, because eventually we don't Google each and everything at that moment of time. Even it was used, but not on the like if you compare today's usage and that time usage, I think you will eventually find a difference at that time. So it was one of the points where I felt ki nahi, this is a good thing. And then I start searching about it on the website of Indian Law Institute, New Delhi. So I come to know that they are offering a PG program in the cyber laws, and I'm interested in it. And their criteria was the graduate. So one needs to be graduate to take their PG programs. So I applied for that, and coincidentally, the same day they were closing their applications and interview process, same day my result came out. I went off to Delhi to just give my interviews and all that. After taking admission in the cyber law, there were many aspects. Like till the time I was only limited to certain aspects, but now technical aspects plus law aspects were there. And that was the time when I eventually decided that okay, fine, this is the field that I want to pursue in future. And that's why after that I did my LLB after taking that into consideration. Otherwise, my plan was something different. I was not at that time was going to plan LLB. I have some different kind of a plans at that moment of time.
And then
But
later
after
on, you
studying,
pursued LLB.
yeah, yes. It had happened in that way. So eventually, if you can say in a one line, so my PG is one such turning point for my life that eventually made me more inclined towards the IT laws, not just the IT laws basically, but the cyber and the tech part as well.
Nice, amazing. So, moving on to my next question, could you provide some insights into your role as in-house counsel at Gartner and also as a data privacy specialist and advisor at the World Cybersecurity Forum?
So first I'll answer you what is my current role with the Gartner. So as everyone knows that I'm acting as a corporate lawyer or an in-house counsel. Sometimes we use these words interchangeably. So my job role is to provide insights on the contracts, on the ongoing contracts, on the future contracts, if I say in a very simple language. So my work revolves around the contract from drafting to the negotiation part. I am everywhere. The team is everywhere eventually. So this is all what we do for the clients. This is a very basic thing. And lucky enough that since the start of my career, like somewhere around 4 years back, I really got the opportunity to work with the world's best organizations. Not with the world's best organization, but as a clients, they are best in their own industry. There are quite big names when it comes to IT industry, when it comes to tech industry. And at that moment of time, I used to review, I used to negotiate and draft various kind of commercial agreements. Before, prior to Gartner, I was the part of PwC, Risk and Advisor team, and I used to do the same job over there. Then I switched on to Gartner, and while turning into the Gartner, the change was here that they specifically deal into IT contracts. So they have a major chunk of IT contracts from their IT clients. So that's a huge thing that actually was a add-on to my current status as a data privacy counsel. When I talk about the data privacy counsel or a data privacy specialist as WCSF, so we started off it in somewhere around 2019 before the COVID era, because me and my friend, we were on the same note that we did our cyber laws, we did our LLB. So now we wanted to start it off and help people in understanding their rights and to combat cyber crimes and to educate them, because we think that awareness is the prime concern in the market these days when it comes to the cyber crimes. So I did the same thing in the role of data privacy specialist in the World Cybersecurity Forum, that we do take calls with the people. We provide them with the techno-legal consultancies. For example, if X person has faced any kind of a cyber crime, he'll come to us, share his issues, and we'll guide him what to do further. And moreover, we are providing this for free right now. We are not charging anything from anyone for this purpose,
Amazing.
because we believe that awareness and education is paramount. There should be no compromise on it, because until and unless awareness should be there, we cannot handle anything. So that is one of my role in the data, as the shoes of the data privacy specialist. Apart from that, in WCSF, we do handle some contracts as well from the clients, of course. So these are just a basic gist that my role about Gartner and WCSF.
So, what type of cases do you handle at WCSF? First question. And the second is who are your clients basically? Like it's customers or basically companies also, organizations also, or is there only one individual?
So there are mixed bag of people. There are companies as well who wants us to give them with the corporate training. So we provide them with their corporate training when it comes to train them in regard to the specified laws. Because as you know that DPDP just came into picture. So now everyone will be entitled to follow these guidelines and follow those acts and needs to change in their current regime, whatever they might be following. Although the government has given them the time, but still everybody needs to start wrapping up and comply with the certain rules and regulations. So this is just a brief that what we do. Apart from that, we have some clients that only wish to have the IT contract. So we explicitly work in the area of IT contracts. So that's what we do in WCSF. These are three major things that we do. And of course, training. How can I forget that? Training and workshop is one such part where when I talk about the education and awareness, training and workshops are the paramount thing. So we provide trainings and workshops to the people, and although some of them are chargeable, some of them are free of cost. So it depends. So
So
these are the
training,
segments that we currently work.
training is for whom? It's for like companies or colleges, or to whom do you provide the trainings?
So it depends. Again, we have trainings for executive members. Executive members is corporate people. We have training for colleges as well. We have
Okay.
programs and workshops for individual people as well. So whatever it might be.
So in 2020, WCSF launched cyber awareness program, right? So how are you creating the cyber awareness among people?
So at that time in 2020, when we create this program, we were very much into that we need to spare the word out. We need to spread the word as much as we can. So we rolled out a form over our or social media accounts and official websites and call up the entries. And many people, many students became the part. Eventually, at that moment of time, we generally used to hold some meetings and used to think about and brainstorm what kind of ideas we can generate. And at that moment of time, there were many people who connected with the local NGOs and with the with the schools, basically Hindi medium and English medium schools like GGIC and many other type of schools. And they used to go and tell students and tell faculty about the issues that are currently prevailing. So that was one thing that we do. Apart from that, we were quite active on the social media. So everybody was writing some piece of stuff. It was a sort of a task given to them that in week we need 2 posts or we need 3 posts in regard to the awareness factor that you want to create. If you want to talk about phishing, go ahead and talk about it. If you want to create a PPT, go ahead and share. So we were open at that moment of time that whatever our volunteers might be comfortable in, please go ahead. However, when it comes to providing training with the NGOs, the schools, then obviously we have to step in as we have to check in that is this suitable or is there anything else that we can do to enhance the features from our end.
Okay. So that's a nice initiative. So apart from that, when you says that cyber crimes, can you define cybercrime? What type of crimes you are dealing with? And we as an individual should be aware of all the cyber security and crime.
So cyber crime, a very simple definition, any crime that has happened with the computer as the medium, with the computer network as the medium, with computer system as the medium. So this is a very basic definition. If you are online and you faced any crime while being online, then it's a cyber crime, right? For example, I have my social media account on Facebook or Instagram or any other social media. If somebody comes to my profile and writes some bad words or some vulgar words or some obscene content to me, they send that obscene content to me, then it's a crime. If somebody is stalking me and sending me obscene material, then it's a crime. If somebody is impersonating himself or herself to be somebody else, it's a crime. If I am clicking on a link in a suspicious link and that leads me to some uncertain page and I enter my credit card details and my amount get whoosh in the air, then that's a cybercrime. So these are some of the few of the very common example of cybercrime. These days, job scam crimes are quite common in
Correct.
the picture. Like we receive key work time home opportunity, and trust me, they are quite enticing in nature that the other person will definitely follow for that. Even specifically for those people who are unemployed and looking forward
Correct.
to the jobs in a very rigorous manner. So these are some of the common crimes that we generally follow. Revenge porn is very common these days. I don't know what's happening, but cyberbullying and revenge porn is something very common. That's why we are more protective about women. I'm not saying that men are safe in the society, but I am being saying that teenagers and women are more fragile, are more vulnerable when it comes to the scammers or hackers.
So, through which platform one can report all these issues related to the cybercrime?
So there are 2 to 3 methods that one can do. So one, they can directly call to the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal, that is 1930. So that's the helpline number 1930. They can definitely give it a call and report their cybercrime. Another aspect is that they can visit the website, that is www.cybercrime.gov.in, and then they can register it. So it will treat it as a FIR, but eventually if you have faced any kind of a financial fraud or anything like that, then definitely one needs to attest their evidences and proofs, bank statements, transaction details, whatever it might be, whatever proof serves the best. So another way is that. And third and the foremost way is going and registering your complaint under the cyber cell police station. If somebody fails to do first and second, then definitely they can reach out to cybercrime police station. And even not every place or every district has a cybercrime police station, then even a police station can also work. But it's need to be in that jurisdiction. So these are 2 to 3 methods that a person can go and register their cybercrime complaint.
Thank you for mentioning that. And do your organization in any way help in solving the cyber crimes, sir?
Yes, we do. We provide help in regard to, for example, if X person has been a victim of a certain crime, then definitely if that person comes to us, we'll provide him with the consultancy. We also started a new phase and planning to start a new phase where we are also providing the psychological training, the psychological help to them. Because sometimes we have seen that the victim is so much into trauma or so much traumatized after losing a large amount of his money, his or her money, and that they even can't go and write it out a complaint because they are in the panicking zone, and we do understand that. So this is one such thing that we are starting ahead, and we are planning to go ahead with that to ensure that their psychological condition is better. Another aspect is that we do provide with the complaint process with everything that should be that should be legally abiding. But sometimes the victim is also not concerned. Honestly, in many of the cases we have seen that after 1 or 2 follow-ups, they are not interested because they might think that we are not be relieving the money, or we not ठीक है चला गया तो ठीक है आप क्या ही कर सकते हैं. That is their temperament in many of the cases. And sometimes it's understandable because if a person is a kind of a person who's into labor jobs, for example, or if somebody has a proper job, how will they leave their jobs, how will they leave their work and visit police station every moment of time? It's not possible they they will only investigate once they see the person is proactive and is coming to them again and again to raise their issues. So in these ways we used to help them.
Yes. So, because of this tedious process, many times the case remains unsolved, right?
Yeah, of course.
So, by handling all these cases, have you encountered any challenges?
There are. The first and the foremost challenge is the victim itself, because actually this is not a normal case. Because if it's a normal case, then we might have not to be concerned, right? Because if a case is running in the court, then it's not a duty of a lawyer to to just console the client. Honestly speaking, on a practical basis, they are not traumatized at that moment of time. In certain cases they are. I'm not saying that every case is same. In certain cases they might be, but in most of our cases the person is panicking and traumatized. That is the first and the foremost. Secondly, they after a certain moment of time, majority of the people are not interested in following up, and we eventually cannot do until and unless the victim wants to do that. We cannot do that on our behalf. Thirdly, of course, the investigation process is too lengthy. Sometimes the concerned people or the officials are not ready to do their jobs. For example, if a person has a wrongful deceit or a wrongful transaction in the bank account, then obviously they need to go to the bank, but the bank people are also not taking their job seriously, whether it's a government bank or it's a private bank. They are just taking up their time. So at that moment of time, we have to pitch in. We have to tell them that it's not the thing, it's your responsibility to do the internal investigation or the internal audit, whatever it might be. So the bank people also have their certain process to follow. If they receive a complaint, first they need to perform the internal audit and then the internal investigation. So everywhere it's a problem, it's a web for us,
Because
it's
of
a
our,
challenge.
yeah, because of a system only we cannot solve all these issues, right?
Yes, of course, system is the only thing, because
Yes.
we also believe that the complicacy in the system. However, I cannot blame the government for that, because they have created a helpline, they have created a website, they have designated cyber cell police station. I now fail to understand what else they could do. It has to be from us, it has to be from
Implementation
the
is
police
the problem.
officer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what is the biggest challenges you are facing when you're dealing with cybersecurity and technology law?
I think the overwhelming development of technology is one biggest challenge. If you read and try to understand what AI is, for example, artificial intelligence, tomorrow you will get to know, and even not tomorrow, after 6 or 7 hours, you will get to know generative AI came into the picture.
Okay.
Then once you start reading about the generative AI, you will get to know regenerative AI came into the picture. Then once you read that, you will came to know ML came into the picture, and some so on and so forth. This is one of the biggest challenges. So if we cannot pace up with the current developments in the technological field, then definitely this field is not for us. We have to make our pace in that. We have to generate the habit of reading, at least not, if not writing, then at least reading. Try to understand the basic concepts. That is the one of the challenges. Another challenge that I feel is of jurisdiction, because as you know, every country has their own laws, right? Maybe the person is sitting in India and the victim is sitting in some other country, and or vice versa. Then what kind of a law will be applicable? Will the Indian law be applicable? Will the Singapore law be applicable? Although we know that the common rule of the jurisdiction is the cause of action, but still sometimes it's a problem, because you eventually don't know that what kind of a problems will you be facing, because 95 to 97% of the cyber crimes are being done outside of India. They are not in India. The hacker or the scammer is not sitting in India. They are either from the side of China or from some other nation. 95 to 97%, this is the ratio that I'm talking.
So, with the development of technologies like AI, blockchain, so this will be the new legal challenges which we will be facing, right? So, do our
Yes.
legal system address all these issues?
So for now, the government is working on that. I'm not sure whether some of us have got the opportunity to read about the National Strategy Policy for AI that was developed in 2018 at that moment of time. So forget 2018. So India was knowing that okay, 2018 was the era when they come up with the National Strategy Policy in regard to the AI. So they were familiar about the challenges. It's not like that we हमें तो पता ही नहीं है, right? But they are still working on that. A few days back, I was reading about the DOC, Department of Consumer Affairs. They just launched the guidelines on the dark patterns, the prevention and the regulations of dark patterns, and they are inviting comments right now for that. So I'm hopeful that it might pass, and it might definitely become a proper guideline that will eventually comply, or that will eventually regulate the dark patterns. So these are challenges, but honestly I think India has decided that they are going to work, because we are generating the world's third biggest workforce after US and China in regard to the AI, right? When it comes to ML, blockchain, these are again a small parts. IoT, all these are small parts, and slowly and eventually we are working on them.
So we give a lot of data to the companies and the websites we visit, right? So from your
Yes.
perspective, what steps should a company should take to ensure with the all the cybersecurity and technology laws?
So it's a very technical question, honestly speaking, because as far as I am concerned, when we talk about the countries situated under EU, GDPR specifies that these are the certain things that needs to be implemented by the data processor or the data controller when they are asking for the personal information. Right now, DPDP just came into the picture. Before than that, we were following IT guidelines. But the IT law does not say that what needs to be done, what not needs to be done. But according to the DPDP, there are several changes. For example, when we talk about the consent and the notice part in the DPDP Act, they clearly specifies that the notice should be explicitly mentioned and the consent should explicitly be taken. It should not be implied. It is expressively clear in the picture. It should be concise in nature. The language should be plain. These are some of the factors of the private of designing the privacy policies as well. Privacy policies plays a very crucial role over here because the privacy policies always describe that how your data is collected, for what purpose they'll be processing it, how they are retaining it, if you want your data to be deleted and or erased, then what is the process? In case of any modification, what is the process? And even if you simply want any complaint to be addressed, then what are some of the steps? So everything is mentioned in the privacy policy, and that privacy policy has to work as per the DPDP guideline, DPDP Act, and of course some IT rules and regulation procedural guidelines. However, we are still waiting ahead for more of the guidelines and confirmations to come into the picture.
Correct.
In regard to DPDP.
So, do you think the DPDP Act, which has been implemented right now, is sufficient enough to address all the issues? Or if you have gone through it, have you witnessed any loopholes?
There are. So, firstly, Surbhi, the answer to your question is that no law is complete, no law is perfect.
Correct.
No statute can be perfect, because and when we specifically talk about the DPDP Act, and when we specifically talk about any law that is related to the technology field, then definitely it cannot be completed. Not even GDPR is complete in its own sense. If it would have been completed, they wouldn't have been introducing some new laws into the picture that are related to AI or that are related to blockchain or dark patterns or many more. So DPDP has its own holes. For example, processing data is one such hole. They are saying that if the data is already being in the public segment, then definitely this data won't apply to you. But my question is, my data is already in the public domain. I have already provided my email and my contact number in the public domain to one of the shopping centers where I have been to shop some grocery. They have my contact details. That is a bigger challenge. Another challenge, that the definition, the eligibility criteria of consent managers are not clear in the segment. They have just given a very brief idea like what the consent manager is, what their role is, but what kind of a body will it be, how will they perform their duties, this is not specified. So there are loopholes in that picture, that what's happening around and what are some of the challenges. Although they have also provided a great powers to the central government, which was also a prior concern कि इतनी powers क्यों है central government के पास. So these are some of the concerns that we are still going ahead. And one of the concerns I could remember is significant data fiduciary. So they clearly define that the central government will decide who will act as a significant data fiduciary. So data fiduciary is different and significant data fiduciary is different. So let's see. However, they have given a criteria of the significant data fiduciary, but still the central government will decide, which actually raises a question of biasness somehow in the mind, that how will they, what is the criteria? Why are you saying that we will be the ones who will be deciding? Specify in the act that this is the thing and this is what we are planning to do. So these are some of the bigger challenges as per my notion after reading DPDP.
Let's see how the implementation goes on.
Of course.
Yes. So moving on, how have you witnessed the landscape of cybersecurity and technology law evolve over the years, and where do you foresee it's heading in the next 5 to 10 years?
In next 10 to 5 years, I'm thinking that everything will be automated, not just Tesla, but everything.
Correct.
And the privacy will remain, it will become one of the biggest questions, because since COVID we have generously. Not just India, but the world has seen a lot of changes in the technological advancements. There are a various kind of a technological. Some of them even we don't know, right? We are sitting here and we don't know what some scientists might be or what some engineers might be inventing. Nobody has thought that there could be something like Chat GPT or Google Bard or Llama, that where you write a query and they'll give you answer. Before than that, we were thinking that Google is the best test.
Right.
Nobody can replace a search engine. I'm not saying that these days it can, but this has come up with certain certain good things as well when it comes to the Chat GPT and these kind of a things. So world is evolving a lot. There will be n number of technological advancements, and trust me, nobody knows about it till date. We even don't know what will be the scenario after 5 to 10 years, because everything is switching to online, whether it's remote work, whether it's anything. And now online is a new normal, honestly speaking. Our webinars, many businesses are benefiting from it. We have n number of things. You just write down your query in the Google search box and it will give you 10, 20, 30 more options that, okay, you can buy this, you can buy that, you can do this, you can do that. So this is the thing. So this is a kind of a technological advancement only. I cannot think this thing of 10 years back. So we have come afar. We have actually driven ourselves afar away. So let's see. Let's hope for the best that we eventually get to see some amazing technology advancements which will eventually help us out, because we have reached to the level of robotics as well. But now let's see what will happen in the near future.
This will be a evolution and we'll have to get used to it also. But this is making
Of
a life
course,
easy at the same time, but at the same time, it's making a life difficult also.
of course, it is. It is because it's related to your privacy,
Privacy.
first and foremost thing. So
Not
that
only
is the
privacy, but apart from privacy, there will be a lot of crimes also, which will be on heights.
Yeah, because when we talk about the privacy, it's pros. I cannot see the more pros, but I can see more cons over here. That
Right.
okay, my privacy is being compromised, then definitely it's not a good thing. Right. But eventually, we cannot stop using ourselves from using the cell phones or using the laptops. As using this is a common thing, right? You might have to take your lectures and you are not feeling well, then definitely you can sit up and take your lectures from home only. I might have to talk to my client in US, then eventually I have to turn on my laptop. Till when I'll be not switching it on for my work.
Right. So, moving on to my last question, what will be your advice to the law students who want to build up a career in cybersecurity and technology law?
Firstly, read a lot. Whatever it might be, read. Work on your basics. Don't be in that zone that I know everything. Nobody knows everything. We cannot know everything in this world. You need to read a lot. You need to understand the concepts. You need to clear your basic concepts, basically. For example, the definition of cookie, the definition of a privacy policy. What are some of the components that form a privacy policy? These are a very few examples that one should be definitely aware of. And definitely they can take outside trainings and workshop in respect to the technology laws and or cyber security, because colleges does not provide each and everything, right? If you just want to stuck to the act, then definitely it's not a good thing. One needs to attain practical knowledge as well. One needs to be very familiar about the upcoming laws. It's not just about India, it's about the worldwide laws. At least basics should be clear, like what are the rights of the people of EU versus the rights of people residing in the US versus the rights of people living in India or Singapore. So these are some of the aspects that they need to work on. Also, they shall also start interning, start working, and plan their journey in such a way that after completing their 3 year or 5 year LLB or LLM, they will definitely land up into some good, fruitful internship in regard to their technological career.
Because the college does not provide a course in that much detail. Just the IT law they cover. Apart from that, I
Exactly.
don't think so. They cover related to cyber securities and technology law that much. And that time
Honestly,
was not
maybe they
having
cannot.
also. Yeah.
Sometimes they also cannot because they have a restriction. They
Yes.
have the restriction of the resources, the infrastructure. They have 20 other subjects that are going on. and there are 100 number of students that might be working, so they cannot provide everything, but definitely it's not an excuse to stop us from delving into the subject.
So are there any courses or resources you would like to recommend to those who are looking to enter into this field?
So there are many, but first I recommend that they need to understand the basics and definitions of the privacy. So they definitely need to go ahead with the basic definition that I always used to recommend in my career development sessions, that the basics definitions of privacy, pull it out from the Google, pull it out from the internet and try to read it. And even if you don't have anything, na, pick a book of your 10th or 11th standard of IT or computer sciences, and there you will find eventually a lot of keywords. First clear them and then go for any kind of courses, and even do not waste your full-fledged money like 30,000 or 50,000 or 60,000 just for the sake that some person might be providing you with a remote job. No, it won't be happening. Not everybody can do a remote job, and until and unless you have certain kind of a experience, then obviously nobody gets a remote job that easily in India. That's not possible.
Correct.
So it's not viable to invest 50,000 at one go, because that is what marketing is all about. Because they might market you that you will be getting 20 or 30 lakhs of package, but eventually you won't, until and unless you work on your skills, come back with the full zeal, and then go ahead with that.
Right.
And we are also providing up with various privacy and data related courses, and we are launching some certain courses by the end of this month. So definitely, if somebody wants to have a check, they can also check our website as well.
Amazing. More last question. So how do you manage your time alongside with your full-time job?
My full-time job is from Monday to Friday, and my work is generally for 9 hours. So 10 to 7 is my general working hours. After that, I invest 3 to 4 hours with myself, with my work. And at that time, sometimes I write, sometimes I research, sometimes I read. I have divided my time in that ways, because if eventually you want to settle up in your career and you want to pursue whatever you want to, then definitely you have to make some extra efforts. I cannot say that I'm tired. I'm not allowed at that moment of time, and that's something I chose for myself. It's not compulsion that the other person has to go ahead with that. If they are fine, if it's manageable for them, then they can definitely do that. And Saturdays, Sundays are definitely and totally and completely dedicated to my WCSF only, because that's crucial for us to develop. So these are some of the small things that I do, that I try to be more productive. I started working off on Saturday, Sunday early in the morning, and then I go ahead with the process, because even not complete day you can work, like for not even for 10 or 12 hours you cannot work, but there are times when we had work eventually till 4 a.m. in the morning, when we have certain kind of a deadlines and we have some unpredictable work or some urgencies are there, then definitely we had work it. So it's manageable, honestly speaking. It's become a new normal for me.
And you guys are doing a wonderful job, and this is actually need of an hour so that we can just create the cyber awareness, because most of us does not know what are the crimes we are facing and don't know what is the correct platform to report it also, right?
Right.
Mostly
I
as a
agree.
lawyer we can figure it out, but obviously the non-lawyers, they are facing the problem a lot.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
totally agree.
So that's the end of our discussion. Thank you once again, Pakhi, for sharing this invaluable knowledge and experience with us. It was such a wonderful conversation with you. I hope the insights which you have given to us will be beneficial for those who are planning to explore the cyber and technology law sector. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much, Solvi, for this amazing session.
Thank you.